today. This is a true power scrap. Okay, I got my mojo back. I've got myself sorted. So what I'm using today is a Kmart. I purchased this 6x6 paper pad from Kmart and here in Australia, and it is called Bloom. Did I write it down? Yes, I did. Bloom Mini Paper Stack. So I pulled out a piece of American Crafts white textured cardstock. That's my base. And I'm using this, pretty sure it was $4 paper pack. And I'm going to create a 12 by 12. Bam, done. True power scrap style. Some of the, if you've seen any of my other videos, I've done a couple of really heavy pages in the last couple of days, and they were kind of quite intense with different processes to get the page to work. So I thought this time I'll just give you a super simple page that you could copy hands down with simply taking a trip to Kmart. So everything I use, no, I won't say that because I do pull a few things from my stash. I don't like calling it a stash. It's not a stash. It's my collection of crafting gems. That's what I'd like to call it. Okay, now I'm full of myself. Okay, all right. Get it back in check, Karen. All right, so basically what I wanted to do with this, I'm scrapbooking 3 photos of my eldest daughter when she was only about, I think she was 6, maybe 7 in this photo. I think she was 6. And she wanted to play in mud, which is so not like her. She's got Asperger's, right? Which she has no issue with. But for her, growing up and being dirty, that did not work. She was not the kid that was going to play in mud. So this particular day, she wanted to play with mud out the back. And I'm like, you know what? In the backyard, go for it. But be damn sure I'm taking photos of that. And I have to scrap it because it has to go in the album that at some point she literally had mud all up her legs. And as soon as she was finished playing, don't get me wrong, she came inside and she's like, Mum, get it off me. Get it off me now. I don't want it on me. And she went straight for a shower. But as a true scrapbooker, I got the photos. Don't you worry about that. So I didn't want, originally with this page, I was thinking about doing muddy puddles. Basically, if you picture Peppa Pig and her muddy puddles, that's kind of where my head was going with this page. But then I saw this paper pack the other day when I was at Kmart and I was purchasing a few different things, and I actually thought, you know what, that'll go really well with those photos. I don't know why, because there's no mud involved in the papers, but it seemed to sort of, I don't know, it just called me. And today I decided I would sit down and just let the process happen. Like I was sitting across the table from you at a retreat and I was scrapbooking and no one was watching. And this is what I came up with. Wow, just made another coffee and whoo, she's hot. Okay. All I've done is I've grabbed, excuse me, that was really hot. I just burnt my tongue. How much do you hate that? You make a coffee, burn your tongue, and for the next 3 days, you've got to deal with a burnt tongue. Okay, these are the KAISERCRAFT wood, what do they call them? Wood flourishes. And I've got everything linked in the description, everything that I use. Okay, so don't stress about writing things down because it's in the description. Now, I struggle to use the little wooden pieces. I love looking at them, and a crazy quirk about me, I love the smell of them. I love the smell of wood. Ever since I had my second child, I have loved the smell of wood. I don't know why. It never left me. And I live near a sawmill, and let's just say I have an unhealthy, unnatural want to smell the wood. I absolutely love it. I don't know why. It's crazy. So I struggle to use these little wooden pieces. I've bought 4, 5, 6 packs of these little tiny things. And you know how people can just add them to a page and it looks right? That's not me. I can't do that. I don't know why. I have no clue at all why I can't do it. I can look at things and copy things and do things, and my brain just won't let me add the wood to the page. I don't know what it is. So I always have to create an embellishment of some description or an embellishment cluster in order to be able to use the wooden piece. So I thought, seeing as this was all about mud, outdoors, wood, it's sort of all in my head. Wood, flowers, butterflies. We actually had flowers and butterflies and all that sort of bizzo going on in the backyard of this particular house that we were at. And then we moved and bought this house, and yeah, that was that. But I thought it would all match. So what I did is I pulled out my Creative Memories punch. You saw me do it there. And I punched myself a 1 1/4 inch circle. And all I'm doing is, I was trying to mentally remember, Karen, you're videoing, tip it forward. But I was just so in the zone with doing this. Like, I've only sped this up 4 times because from start to finish sitting down, it took me less than an hour. So, yeah, sometimes the pages work like that and sometimes they don't. And this one, I actually love it. I love the colours. Sometimes I go for the extreme bright colours, watercolor, ink, all that sort of, all the moody colours, the moody blues. Today I was feeling, I don't know what you call these. What do you call these colours? Like, I call them like dusty colours, like dusky, like mushroom and that sort of thing. I don't know. I think I call them dusty because Dusty Concord and the milled lavender in the distress colours, they remind me of these colours. So I don't really know what colour to call it. And of course the paper pad doesn't have anything other than here I am. So I did fussy cut. The only thing is I fussy cut, and I literally did this in the hour. So I fussy cut 1 sheet out of the paper pack, and I fussy cut 2 or 3 butterflies. And of course I have to have something shiny on the page. So I went over my butterflies with some glossy accents just to make them not so much stand out, but I think something that I'm learning on my pages is I have to have something bling. So something, whether it's the glossy accents kind of shiny, or whether it's foil, whether it is like a glossy rub-on or something like that. And I'm just using a different piece of embossed paper there, and I'm glad I did because I didn't like it. So these are my really, really old rub-ons that I have had for forever. I can't even tell you where they're from, but I've had them forever and they still work. So what I'm doing is I've grabbed myself a Q-tip, and I'm being super, super careful here, and I'm just touching the raised portion of this embossed paper. It's not even paper, it's cardstock. So the other day I sat down and I just put a heap of embossing folders through just to see which ones I liked. Do I like the positive side, the negative side, all that sort of bizzo. So I put these on here, and I loved how it was all that muted tones, but it was crying out for a bit of, you may have noticed there that I used my left hand as well as my right hand. I'm actually ambidextrous, so that you're not seeing things. I wasn't playing camera tricks on you there. I actually can do things like that. So, yeah. So I just went around and added a little bit of, it's called golden white. So it's a very pale colour. It adds the shine but didn't add any more colour to the page because I just wanted it to all stand out. Now these are my MARTE Duo markers. These are the adult ones. Adult, that's what they're called, aren't they? MARTE Adult Colouring Duo markers, and I used the grey. Now I did go through a few of my pens to quickly work out which one I wanted and which one I didn't. Sometimes I would have, sometimes when I do a page like this, I get my sewing machine and I sew on it. I didn't want to complicate it like that. I wanted this to be just a true power scrap. So in lieu of sewing on a sewing machine or hand sewing or whatever, I like to use pen work. It's an old, call it an old school thing. I don't mind. I actually find it endearing because I've been scrapbooking for 20 years. So sometimes I was trying so hard not to hit the butterflies, and guess what? I hit one. Sometimes you just need that extra little bit of something on the page, and it doesn't necessarily have to be paint or mixed media or find the right stamp or something like that. Sometimes it can come down to just buy yourself a set of fine tip markers. These ones, you can get them from KAISERCRAFT. You can get them from, I've seen them in Spotlight. I got mine from the $2 shop, and they're about $15 for the pack. And you've got a brush tip on one end, which they're water soluble, so you can use them to colour your pages. You can put them onto, you can do it on wax paper, you can do it on a piece of plastic, you can do the splatting technique, you can do all of those things with it. And yeah, you end up with a stack of different things you can actually do with these pens. So I like the fine tip end of them 9 times out of 10 because this is what I use them for. And yeah, I just drew a border, and then once I looked at the border, I thought, needs a little bit of something extra on it. So I probably could have left it at that, but I ended up pulling out. These are little tiny pearl dots. I got them from a $2 shop. Couldn't tell you, like, just have a look in your cheap shops. And they actually look like they're on a string. They're not. They're just all glued in a line, and you can just pull them off and separate them. Or you can use them in a whole line. It's your call. So I was going to use my liquid pearls, but I decided, no, I'm going to use those enamel dots that I bought. So yeah, I just added them here and there, and it was done. That was it. So then I just went around and I just added a little bit of doodling because I wanted to sort of draw the eye out. I felt like there was too much white space, but I stopped myself. I didn't go any further. I just did a few of them and trying not to lean on the butterflies. So this was really easy, just to let you know, not. And that's it. That's it. So I hope you enjoyed this one. It was super, super quick. Hope it inspires you this weekend to pull out your craft stuff and get scrapbooking. The other thing I didn't mention, the flourish, I apologise. The flourishes in the background are from some assemblage required, and I cut them out of my Cricut. But by all means, you could go ahead and use the a die if you've got a die or something like that. And there you go. So that's it, guys. Thank you so very much. And apologies for the Facebook Messenger going off then. Apologies about that. So if you haven't subscribed already, I'd love to have you as a subscriber, and I would love it if you shared my channel. And if you want to be a part of the Facebook group, you can see the still photos. Thanks, guys. Bye.